Now, the first one is when you're going through suppliers and vetting these suppliers, not only vet them for legitimacy, but also be able to vet them for their ability to maneuver on pricing and actually develop relationships with them. That's a huge mistake that I made at the start, where it was like, okay, this supplier's legitimate, I can work with them, let's try and develop relationships with them, let's try and negotiate with them. 2 months down the line, we realized, hang on a second, it's a dead end. A supplier may well be legitimate, that's all great. However, a step further in which you have to take the vetting process is having an understanding that when we're going through our suppliers, which suppliers we are able to actually break down and work with. What I mean by that is, a supplier that we find on the first page of Google might well be very, very, very legitimate, right? Maybe a perfectly legitimate supplier. We're not going to get scammed. However, is that supplier actually going to make us money on Amazon? Okay, so we've added that to our vetting process. So it's like a case of, okay, this supplier is legitimate, and also this supplier has data to suggest that we could work with this supplier over the long term. We can negotiate with this supplier, we can get their pricing down. For example, right, let's say you go onto Google and you find Harrison's Direct. Are you really able to get on the phone with the sales rep of Harrison's Direct and negotiate? Not really, right? That's not their market. So now when we vet our suppliers, we make sure that, okay, yes, this supplier is A, legitimate, but B, this supplier also, there's data there that shows me I can actually negotiate with this supplier and they can move on pricing. Now, the second mistake is actually not negotiating with suppliers and not understanding that pricing is maneuverable. Now, the biggest giveaway from this is, I can tell you one thing and it'll change your whole perspective, and that's a lot of these wholesalers have sales reps in place, right? Now, you've just got to think of this. Why on earth would a wholesale company employ a sales rep to be full-time if pricing was fixed? This sales rep is literally there to work with you closely, develop a relationship with you, understand what your business needs, offer you products and prices that works for your specific business. Right, pricing is maneuverable at the right sorts of suppliers, at the suppliers that you've vetted appropriately. Like I mentioned in point 1, pricing is maneuverable. Pricing isn't fixed. You've just got to understand how to negotiate with these suppliers, work with these suppliers to get this pricing down. Account reps have jobs to offer you pricing that works for you, as long as you're able to offer them value in return. Which feeds on to number 3, not understanding how to offer value to suppliers. Now, a huge reason why companies and people and Amazon sellers don't know how to offer value to sales reps is because they don't actually know what their business does. They just think, oh, we're an Amazon seller, we're here to flip stock on Amazon. No, you're part of the supply chain now. You're procuring stock from brands, wholesalers, distributors, and you're selling to the end customer via Amazon. How can we offer value to these cogs within the supply chain essentially? How can we offer value to these brands? How can we offer value to these wholesalers? How can we offer value to these distributors? Now, people don't know how to do that because they don't know what their business actually does. They don't have a solid, bulletproof business ethos, for example. They don't know how to present themselves to these suppliers, and therefore they don't know how to get on the phone and talk to these suppliers efficiently to actually work with these guys and offer them value. All businesses revolve around exchanges in value, whereby it's one entity exchanges value with another entity. And usually your business is in the middle. For example, Amazon, right? What value are we offering end customers as Amazon sellers? Great pricing, and obviously next day or same day delivery. And you've got to understand that, okay, on the other side of things, what value can we offer these wholesalers and distributors and brands? Now, the fourth mistake that so many sellers make is not understanding when and how much stock to replenish. So with wholesale, a huge factor which causes people to leak profits, right? A huge point of leakage is not getting their replenishment on point, right? Whereby with wholesale, let's say you have 50 ASINs. Okay, what ASINs are we keeping? Okay, if we're keeping them, when are we replenishing them? By how much stock? All these points. Okay, the ASINs that we aren't replenishing, what are we doing with these ASINs? Are we liquidating them? Like, are we tanking pricing on them? Are we gradually selling out? What's our sell-through rate on these ASINs? Now, with those ASINs that are performing well, what systems do you have in place to then go in and renegotiate with the supplier? And those ASINs which aren't performing well, are we completely cutting ties with that supplier, or ties with those SKUs from that supplier? Or are we going in to try and renegotiate? So what systems do we have in place when it comes to replenishment and inventory management? For example, in my business, we use a software whereby we'll literally enter in our lead time for certain ASINs, how much stock coverage we want, so do we want 30-day stock, and also how much stock we always want in as a buffer, right? So what it will do is, it will calculate how much stock we need to send in and when to send it in according to our supply lead time, how much stock we want sat in Amazon basically, at all times, what sort of leeway we want, and also how fast our stock is moving. It'll look at that and tell us how many units to send in and when, according to all of those data points. Most sellers out there, they don't have a software or a system in place to automate all that. They'll go through each ASIN by ASIN, be like, okay, we sold X amount of units in the last 30 days with this many units left. Our supply lead time is this. And it's taking them like a whole day to go through, let's say, 50 ASINs, right? When you can do that within a click of a finger, right? If you've got the right systems and softwares in place. So now I just log into a software, click one button, and I'm told replan this on this date, replan this hit then, replan this then. So it's literally just dates and ASINs and when to replan by how much. So that's a huge part of a wholesale business, because we are purchasing and selling a lot of ASINs. So we've got to understand how to manage these ASINs. Now the fifth mistake that sellers make is by thinking it's easy. Right, no business on this planet is easy. If it was easy, everyone would do it. You've got to understand what you get out is what you put in. Yes, the right knowledge, the right systems behind the effort will accelerate your growth faster. But if you just put the work in, you'll succeed. Right, it's just a matter of time. Like I said, yes, the right knowledge, information, systems, softwares will accelerate that. But hard work is required either way. So that's all for this video. If you liked it, hit the like button, and I've got a lot more free information coming on my YouTube channel. So if you're here, you might as well subscribe.